Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Fight Addicts. Get ready to explore the past, present, and future of MMA with your hosts, Seth Oliver and Ben Korn.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode number 9 of The Fight Addicts. Before we begin today's show, be sure to check out our blog at thefightAddicts.com and stay up to date with us by following at The Fight Addicts on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Today's date is Monday, May 27, 2019. Ben, we're 25 days out from Artem Lobov's next fight.
It's true.
At BKFC 6. I know you said you wanted that to be a part of the show, to be kind of where we track time on the show.
I think that all time itself should revolve around Artem, and you know what year it is in the year of Artem. But, yeah.
It's your big Artem fan.
I think he's gonna get tuned up. I think that Malignaggi should beat him definitively.
Yeah,
but it makes it interesting because it's a bare knuckle fight.
It's true.
You know, I mean, a circle ring and the forced exchanges. There's less footwork involved than boxing. So, who knows?
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. So our topic lineup for today, we're going to be discussing the top 5 MMA news headlines of this week. It was kind of a slow week, but we do have some things to talk about. And then our main topic, since there were no fights this weekend, we don't have anything to recap, but we're going to talk about our preview for 2019 and kind of how we see things going in the UFC by the end of the year. So before we get into everything, our featured comment of the week, this came from a video that was titled, "What Did Artem Lobov Do to Deserve This?" by Chael Sonnen. And the comment, I forgot to write down the guy's name, so shout out to whoever said this, but he said, "Chael doesn't wear condoms because there's no such thing as protection," from Chael Sonnen. So Chael's fan base kind of cracks me up because they're very cult-like. I love Chael, but I wouldn't say that I'm to that level of fandom that a lot of people are.
Chael makes more sense than Artem does to me. I understand that Artem is a troll job. Everyone is making fun of it, the people who put up the, 32 men have attempted to win a fight against Artem Lobov and only 17 have succeeded.
Yeah.
That's gold.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, I don't understand why someone who's as average and T-Rex has so much love, other than he's gotten a lot of coverage because the only reason he's there is because he's McGregor's boy.
Right.
I mean, in reality, if we're talking about what I really think is going on, yeah. If you guys can hear a Doberman barking, we had a slight change of venues. We're in my living room, and I have a Doberman that I would normally put in a kennel, but the first time we tried to do this, he was whining. So we had to tie him up outside, but you can maybe still hear him a little bit. I apologize.
Yeah.
Anyway, go ahead.
All right, so go ahead and get into the MMA news for this week. One of the big things that was announced was Francis Ngannou and Junior Dos Santos. That fight is now moved from UFC 239 on the main card of that, and it will serve as the main event of UFC on ESPN3 since Tyron Woodley's out with his hand injury. So they moved that to the main event. And still at the time of this recording, no fight has been rescheduled for Robbie Lawler. So I feel like that's a pretty big change for that, since now it's moved from a 3-round bout to a 5-round bout. And Ngannou's last 5-round bout, where it went all 5 rounds, was Stipe Miocic. And we learned a lot of things about Ngannou from that fight. Now, he has had more fights that have been scheduled for that, but he knocked out Curtis Blades in the main event. And I can't remember if he's had another one since then. But
Cain Velasquez.
Yeah, Cain Velasquez.
Yeah.
So, you think this one's going to go all 5 rounds?
No.
Do you think it's going to be a big change?
No.
Now, do you have Dos Santos or do you have Ngannou?
I think that Ngannou's going to win by knockout. I wish that JDS would win, but I don't think he will. I don't think that's a realistic expectation from that fight.
Yeah. I have Ngannou winning just because I feel like he's hitting his peak, and I feel like he's really learning a lot, and he seems to be improving. I feel like even though we haven't seen his ground game, I would bet that it has improved since the Stipe fight. I'm highly assuming that he learned from that, and that we're not going to see that same mistake again, at least to that extreme.
Let me say this. I feel like if it's over 3-1 in Ngannou, you should put some money on JDS.
Yeah.
Because of that Shane Carwin fight that JDS had. Like, Shane Carwin was this monster power puncher, and he just kind of got jabbed to death. Like, I think Ngannou is more athletic than Shane Carwin is. He's got more agility than Shane Carwin did, but power level, I don't think anybody really has ever come on par with Carwin.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, he steamrolled Brock Lesnar for a round. That's pretty much the top of the power food chain.
Yeah, before this episode started, and you said you think that fight should have been finished in the first round, or that the ref should have called it.
Yeah, that's a fight that I'm like, even though Brock Lesnar won, it probably should have. It should have been stopped in the first round. You know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That's just the way I feel about it. And Shane Carwin, what a interesting guy that guy was. Like a weird anomaly that he never gets talked about anymore.
Yeah.
But, I mean, he retired. That's why. But
now, going into the fight with Brock, did you have Carwin winning?
Yes.
I remember my whole family did. Like me, my dad, and my brother were all rooting for Carwin.
Going into the fight with Brock, I've had everyone losing. I've had everybody beating Lesnar.
Even Randy
fight.
Couture.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Randy Couture. At the time, I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, okay. But I changed my hateration with the first Frank Mir fight, honestly. Because, like, he got caught in that leg lock, right? He leg locks him? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
that's before he had the horseshoe. So.
Yeah, but he's beating the brakes off of him before he gets leg locked. You know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it showed that Lesnar could do it. He could hang. But I still thought that Randy would figure out a way. I think the moment that I knew that it was probably going the other way was when they were standing across the cage from each, like the, you know, ref is telling them to come out, keep it clean and touch gloves. I was like, oh, that's like a huge man. He's so much bigger than Couture.
Yeah.
But so was Tim Sylvia.
Yeah.
Like, look at that glove touch.
Yeah.
He's like 8 inches taller than him, and he just jaws him.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite fights.
Boom, yeah. It was on my birthday.
Really?
Yeah. I was at a Hooters in Rivergate when I saw that, and I was laughing. Like, good.
Yeah, a good birthday present for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so the next piece of news is Jorge Masvidal and Anthony Pettis have agreed to a grappling match that's going to take place on June the 15th. And it's 4 weeks before Masvidal's fight. And so it's...
That's interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting. And so they're going to do it. It's for an IPPV show at the Pensacola Bay Center. And the match is deemed a jiu-jitsu super fight between the two.
Is it like...
Well, I was going to say, and it's going to be a benefit for the Bully Proof Foundation.
Okay, but what's the organization? I mean, like, it's just a charity event? It's not like a Eddie Bravo Invitational, like...
That's how I'm understanding it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
And
I didn't know if it was like a league that was like a grappling league, like Grappler's Quest, or like so-and-so presents, you know?
I didn't think so when I read about it from MMA Fighting.
Okay.
I can go back and check, but it said that also Yoel Romero is going to be on the card, or not the card, but he's going to be competing at the event too.
Yeah.
So, and his opponent hasn't been named yet. So
his victim hasn't been named yet?
Yeah, you're right on that. Yeah. All right. So for the third piece of news, Conor McGregor injured his hand this week. Did you hear about that?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, he posted up a picture on Instagram. He's got his whole, his left hand is taped up all the way like up to his thumb, you know, because who needs a thumb? And he just, on his caption for the picture said, "Intense training and sparring sessions, I will always push it to the limits. This comes off and I push on. The proper Don, nothing will stop me." So it's kind of what's going on with McGregor right now.
Okay. And they still don't have anything lined up for him?
No, but they said that due to this injury, his return is expected to be either late summer or early fall. So probably around like the Abu Dhabi Khabib fight when he's supposed to be unifying the titles with Poirier. Because that's supposed to take place in September.
You can get a riot there.
Yeah.
Straight up riot. Because, like...
Bunch of goofballs down there that Dana's looking at.
I feel like there's no way that I can say this and it won't come off as like mildly racist, but like it takes a lot of fortitude and brashness to do what Colby Covington did, where he was in an arena full of Brazilians and called them filthy animals to their faces.
Yeah,
like that was
Brazil's
a move.
dump.
Yeah, that was a move that gained a lot of it showed me two things. Colby is more bold than I thought he was, and he's also dumber than I thought he was because that was a stupid thing to do.
Yeah.
But
I love how the translators there. He's like, no translating tonight.
Yeah.
So it was only the ones that understood it.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah. That was a good move by DC.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was about to get real. He was about to get dad strong on people when they ran that cage.
Yeah, for sure.
I wonder how many people it would take. I wonder if they mobbed the cage and the first dude, Daniel Cormier, just dropped him. Just broke his face. Just one punched him.
Kind of like what happened to Sage Northcutt. That's what's going to end up with the guy.
Well, I just wonder, if you had a group of people coming towards you and the heavyweight champion of the world is there and the first guy comes up and he just drops him. Done. Would the second guy have any hesitation or be like, we're just going to rush you until you don't get all of us?
Or it could depend on how much alcohol he had that night.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
So
liquid courage.
Yeah. All right. Well, real quick. Well, we'll get onto this later in the episode. Probably. But who would you like to see McGregor return against? Since we're kind of talking about our preview of 2019 for this episode.
In a perfect world, Cowboy beats Tony and calls him out and is like, you can't run from me now. And that's a winnable fight for McGregor.
Yeah.
I feel like the winner of Tony and Cowboy should fight him. So probably Tony.
Okay. So you don't think that the winner of that fight should fight the winner of Khabib and Poirier?
He should.
Yeah, that's how I'm looking at it. And I feel like a lot of the MMA fan base is looking at it that way. It's kind of like a little tournament setup. Winner of Poirier Khabib faces the winner of Tony Cowboy.
I don't know if they would do this, but if we're scripting it like a wrestling match, what you would do is you would have Cowboy win. It would be expected that Cowboy would be like, I want my title shot. And then he would be like, I got some business to handle with this Irishman. Show him where whiskey really comes from. And it doesn't, but, something crazy, say something insane.
Kind of like the jiu-jitsu thing that Harold Howard said. Yeah.
what I'm was a master of jiu-jitsu standing or something just what are you talking about? But, just proving that you know nothing about it. There's an episode of The Simpsons where Homer gets a muscle car for some reason, and he's showing it off to Moe, and Moe is like, it's got a V8 in it, and he's like, yeah. He's like, supercharged. He's like, yeah. He's like, does it have the flux capacitor? And he's like, yeah. He's like, I made that last one up, Homer. He's like, I see. He's like, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I think that,
and then he goes and beats up James Vick after that. Homer does.
What? Why would he beat up James Vick?
Justin Gaethje.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So
see if you catch my reference there.
Yeah. Justin Gaethje needs to get in that mix.
Yeah. Well, see, that's
ESPN
put up a post. They said that it's the odd man out because Connor's ranked 3 and Gaethje's ranked 5.
There it is.
Line them up to fight.
Yeah. Gaethje goes to sleep.
See, that's what I'm thinking. I feel like I have so much bias towards McGregor, even though I don't. I just feel like Cowboy and Gaethje are both really winnable fights for him. Do you think so or not?
Well,
you've already said
Cowboy
Cowboy is
way more winnable than McGregor. Way more winnable. McGregor's that one-hitter quitter, man. He's just going to tag you one time. And everybody, when they're getting hit by him that's not named Nate Diaz, and a couple of times Nate Diaz is just shocked. Just inhuman strength. And I remember in that lead up to the second Diaz fight, Diaz was like, yeah, he hits hard. He hits hard for a 155er. And it's look, I've heard the Diaz brothers insult the punching power of everyone. GSP, everybody. They're just they don't hit hard. And if he acknowledges any kind of power, other than just to be he's smaller than me though, so it didn't really hurt me. It's yeah, man, he hits crazy hard.
Yeah.
So much power. And Jose Aldo just going to sleep instantly. That doesn't just happen. It hasn't happened other than that.
Yeah.
I mean, Max beat him.
Yeah, but it wasn't a clean knockout.
Right.
Both
It
were
wasn't just
TKOs.
one full power. Everything is 100% ready to go. You haven't been rocked around already. And then you're just asleep and waking up. And this guy that's a moron has your belt.
They're really king, baby.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. There it is.
Yeah.
So,
Man, I still remember that. You coming over to watch that. Like, that just felt so surreal.
it was.
I literally remember your face for like everybody that's watching this. He was sitting back on our bonus room that we have upstairs, just kind of like, and we're all just like going crazy. Me and a couple of my high school buddies and my brother, and it's just that was an insane moment.
You know, like you saying that was kind of like how when Fedor got triangled by Verdum, I had people over at my house because I had Showtime. And I was like, watch this. You're going to get to watch the best fighter ever come out here. And I remember when he's getting the triangle locked on him by Verdum, like this guy who really doesn't watch much MMA had said, he's like, that's the best fighter in the world because he looks like a fat 5'11" guy. I'm like, just watch. And then he got triangled. And it was like,
And that was in like the first minute, right? Like it was super quick into the fight.
Yeah, he kind of knocks him, like, there's just barely any kind of hand exchange, and Verdum gets kind of clipped, but then he falls to guard, and Fedor follows him down into his guard, doesn't care, and he just locks a triangle pretty much instantly. And then it's that nasty, like, he's got his arm in it to where he can't, to fight the triangle, he's either going to get his arm broken or he's going to get choked unconscious. So every time he goes to fight the triangle, Verdum starts messing with his arm. Like, he's like, I can't. Okay. And then he taps. One tap.
I remember
That was how, yeah. No.
Probably exactly how it sounded.
That's how it sounded. Yeah. That was the noise that it made, like, in my soul. There's that hollow, like
an ominous bell sound.
Yeah. It's the end. Sad.
Now, would you classify that as prime Fedor? Because he hadn't lost, or he lost one. Was it due to a cut stoppage?
He got headbutted by TK, and then they reran that, and we saw that ended.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just had that one loss before that. And see, how do I say this? Fedor needs to fight in a mystical world where you don't know what's going on with people's bodies. Like, he doesn't need to fight in a USADa'd place. It's not that he's going to get USADa'd necessarily, but it feels like there needs to be some kind of aura of mystery with his fighting. He needs to be this Russian who is in a sauna and then goes out into the frozen lake. Like, that's what he needs that era to be effective. He needs the mystique of being Fedor. And then when Dan Henderson sleeps you don't have that anymore. It's like, you got knocked out by a middleweight, bro. I'm like, oh, I got this, you know?
Yeah.
So, now Dan Henderson was THC. He was testosterone out of his mind.
TRT.
He was on testosterone replacement therapy. Like, Fedor wasn't, so, and, you know, it's that window where it was legal. So
I still wish we had that window. I wish that it wouldn't have closed.
I wish that there was a way to just, like, put all fights on an Indian reservation and everybody signs, like, a waiver at the beginning of it. And let's just rock and roll, man. Like, they should do something to make sure that they don't have, like, AIDS or, like, hepatitis or some kind of bloodborne pathogen, or and that they have a healthy heartbeat and stuff, that they're not going to exert themselves and die. But, you know, I don't really think that they should test them for drugs. But
yeah, and we've already talked about that.
Yeah, exactly. That's one of my running things. Because eventually, as it has been seen in sports, it'll break you down on the long haul. Like, Mark McGwire would have played longer if he didn't turn into the Incredible Hulk. Like, he was huge. Like, Jose Canseco played for a really long time, but he also killed his, like, ability to steal a base. Like, he was the first 40-40 man. He had 40 home runs, 40 stolen bases. That's an amazing feat. That means that he has power and he's fast. But then he gained like 50 pounds of muscle, and he couldn't steal bases anymore. I mean, I guess he probably could. I bet you he would be very offended by that.
And we know that he's listening to this right now.
He is. He is.
Yeah.
He's planning on his MMA comeback. Have you seen Jose Canseco's one fight?
No.
Yeah, and it's not even Jose Canseco. Here's the ultimate, like, what are you talking about? Jose Canseco has a twin brother, an identical twin brother, that fought the giant Hongman Choi in Pride, and said it's a guy who looks like Jose Canseco, but it's not Jose Canseco. They introduced him as Jose Canseco.
Seriously?
And he came out with a baseball bat and baseball pants on and MMA gloves. And got owned. Got beat down by an 8-foot-tall man.
Well, they should do him and then the real Jose versus Matt and Mark Hughes.
Yeah, absolutely.
And some type of,
I saw an ad for Fight Pass today where it was like exclusive content, and it's just like this, like, Matt Hughes sitting with like the sun going down behind him, and I'm like, that's not a good look, guys. You need to change that ad right now, bro. Like, I get that you did this right after the train thing. You made that, heartfelt, like he's a Hall of Famer and he's going to get better and stuff. But after the domestic stuff, you got to cut that out of your promos.
And then insert Greg Hardy right into it. And then you display it for the world to see.
Exactly. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right, so...
It's just the John Jones police footage. It's just the body cam footage.
No promo editing or anything. It's just like the rare, or not the rare, the raw footage of it.
Yeah, and that's all Fight Pass is. Like, you go and every video is just the John Jones video. You're like, what? First off, why is this here? Secondly, why is it the only thing here?
All right, so fourth piece of news was among the UFC cuts, Elias Theodorou and Justin Willis got cut. Pretty crazy. Cause
Justin Willis makes sense. You heard that did you hear why he got cut?
No. I was about to say I haven't read any like official statements on it.
If this was a troll job and like the greatest piece of like fake news I've ever read, it was wonderful. But according to the website that I saw, I don't remember what it was. I was crying. It said that he was offered a fight in like June or July, and he said, I'm not sure I can make weight for it.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Okay. I was fixing to say, whenever you said that, it did trigger. I remembered that they said that they couldn't come to an agreement on his next fight, and so that's why he got cut.
Yeah, but his response was, I don't know if I can be 265 in months? Like, what are you talking about? You're supposed to be a professional fighter.
Yeah.
Like, if you were Dada 5000, I'd understand. Yeah. Like, if you were talking to Scott Coker, that's one thing.
But not the UFC.
But no, they're going to cut you.
Yeah.
Especially after your last performance. Like, the audacity to tell them, you looked like you did not care or want to be there at all whenever Curtis Blaze just owned you in this horrible, like, you didn't make anything happen. You didn't try. You wanted to take up as much time of the viewers as you could and not get finished, which is not what the UFC is looking for.
At Anthony Smith.
Yeah. Did you see the Luke Rockhold thing?
Yeah, I did.
Anthony Smith.
Now, I'm on Anthony's side with that. As in, like, I feel like Rockhold's just being Rockholdish to not use any language on the podcast.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Rockhold Tracy. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
His comment, I just thought I would have responded, just put his name in there. He's like, he's not a viable 205 pounder.
Yeah,
and I'd be like,
exactly.
I fought for the 205 pound title in the UFC. What did you do? You got knocked out by David Branch. Like, sit down, man.
Yeah.
Like, Hey, are you feeling okay? You still feeling that Bisbing knockout? Remember that one?
Yeah.
Like, you've had some moments, bro. Like, there's no need to get into like a Twitter war over that kind of stuff, which is why Anthony Smith didn't do that. But
yeah, no, I like Anthony Smith too. Now, I feel like in the Jones fight, he did definitely show signs of he was kind of there not to get finished. But I'm not saying I would have done anything differently if I'd have been in that position. Like, by the fourth round, I mean,
I'm getting finished.
You try,
but it's
finished.
Like,
I would run out the decision, or like run the time out to the decision.
I'm getting finished. I'm either getting to be famous forever. I'm either Matt Serra, or I'm going to sleep. And like every time that it comes down to the 4th and 5th round and you've lost every minute of the fight, that's what you have to do. You have to just be like, all right, Chris Lieben time. Come on, let's do it.
Yeah, let's bring it on. Come on.
Yeah, because people will respect you more. You'll gain more fans by getting knocked out, by getting starched, than you will by just like turtling and making people boo.
Well, I mean that, but I also want to like, I wouldn't want to take any excessive damage that I didn't have to at that point.
See, this might be this. Yeah, exactly. I mean, like, it's easy to say things
right
whenever I'm sitting here and I'm not getting punched in the face or kicked in the leg or, grappled to
in your
death.
house. Yeah,
yeah, But like, I do know from rolling around and being exhausted, I would always be like, I'm either going to get this, I'm going to try and do this, and either it's risky and either it's going to work or Welby's going to grab my neck right here. And he would always grab my neck right here. So it's kind of like, Welby. Yeah, it's kind of like me getting, I would rather you try something risky and get tapped or get knocked out than play it safe when you're going to lose.
Yeah, I would definitely rather watch somebody do that. I just know, like, myself personally, I feel like I would be like very conservative in that moment, if that makes sense. Like, it's much more entertaining to be like, to watch somebody like Anthony Smith in that position, like, go for it and either get the finish or get knocked out. But I guess on a personal level, I feel like I would probably lean the more like conservative way and just like probably turtle up. But I've also never been in that situation, so I don't know how I would really be.
Have you ever boxed before?
Nope.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Like, you never sparred with your brother? You never just put gloves on?
Oh, yeah. I thought you meant like in a...
No. I'm
like a...
Not, I've never boxed before in a ring. But, like, I put gloves on with people who knew what they were doing before.
Yeah, I've done that.
Have you ever gotten...
Well, and I used to take karate, but I was like 8.
Okay. Yeah. Well,
so, if you count that.
Have you ever punched until you can't punch anymore?
No.
You ought to do that. You ought to do that repeatedly because that'll change the way that you look at things. Like, you'll be like, okay, well, I can't. Like, watch that Forrest Griffin fight. They talk about it in Griffin Bonner, where they just keep hitting each other and they've thrown like a bajillion strikes, and then they can't really lift their arms, so they get to a clinch and start throwing knees. It's like, I can still lift my knee, And that's that different kind of grit to be like, okay, I can't do this anymore. I got to do this, as opposed to be like, I can't fight anymore. I need to cover up. It doesn't matter that I know the other guy's in the exact same situation,
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah. Now, to finish it off, would you take Smith or Rockhold in the fight? Because I hope that it materializes. Like, Anthony Smith wins or loses against Alexander Gustafsson, which he will probably lose. Man, I hope that fight happens. And I would pick Smith, honestly. I feel like in a weird way, he just, like, the Lionheart nickname, I feel like he owns up to that in that fight. It
depends on if they get on the ground. It really depends on if they get on the ground to me. Standing, it's anybody's ball game, and I would lean towards Smith. Because I feel like Smith would approach it differently than he approached the Jones fight. And it would look something more like him blitzing Shogun and stuff. Because I think if Smith blitzes him, he's got a good chance. Mm-hmm. If he just walks across the cage and punches him in the mouth, if they go to the ground, Luke Rockhold will change his perspective on life.
Yeah. Now, also, how chinny is Rockhold going to be at 205?
More.
You think so?
Yes.
So you don't think that the added weight's going to help him out?
It's not going to help.
He won't be drained?
I think that the added weight will help his opponent punch harder than David Branch and Michael Bisping, who has like 0 knockouts before he knocked out Luke Rockhold.
Right.
I mean, like, he has TKOs, but like the only thing he ever dropped people with before was knees. Like, Bisping would hit that knee and get him, and then follow him. Even whenever he was fighting guys that were beneath him, he wasn't lacing people, So,
real quick, could you turn on that light right there?
Yeah.
I see it's starting to get kind of dark for our YouTube viewers out there. So we'll keep some good lighting going on. But while Ben's doing that, I'm happy that Rockhold is moving up to 205. I feel like it probably is the best for him career-wise. Just kind of how middleweight is. And he's lost. Has he lost 2 out of his last 3? Because it was Bisping, and then he gets a win, and then he gets
his win?
Obliterated against Yoel. That uppercut.
Yeah.
Rockhold's win Let me look it up. But who would you take? Not who would you take, but how do you think Rockhold will do at 205? Or do you think it all depends on...
I think this is the end.
Now, he
For
is
his
fighting
career,
Blachowicz.
pretty much.
He's fighting Blachowicz at 239.
Yeah, he's probably going to lose, and then he'll be able to fight Anthony Smith.
Okay, he beat David Branch in the rematch. That's what it was, after Bisping. He TKOs Branch in the second round. And then he fights Yoel and he gets knocked out.
When did Branch knock him out?
Branch knocked him out. Branch didn't knock him out.
So he knocked out Branch? Is this another thing where I've seen a highlight?
I guess I remembered that too. Like, that was weird.
Well, it's like that Thiago Santos and Hermanson.
Yeah.
They show that highlight in
Yeah.
Hermanson's thing, and I'm like, oh, he's killing Thor's hammer. There's no way that guy won that fight. Yeah, he won that fight.
No, he's only fought Branch once, so
Okay.
sorry to everybody about
Sorry,
that.
guys.
We both had that wrong. He gets knocked out by Vitor and then Bisping, and then he lost his second ever fight. Melee on the Mountain was the promotion name. He gets TKO'd in the first round.
By
Tony Rubacalva. So whoever that is. Anyways, I think that Rockhold beats Blachowicz at 239. And then I hope that he fights Smith. I hope that's the next fight for him after that. I guess it all depends on how Smith's fight with Gus goes next weekend.
So honestly, I want Anthony Smith to lose to Gustafsson. I think he will lose to Gustafsson, and I want Luke Rockhold to lose pretty much every time.
Yeah, I'm picking Gus, but like I said, I think that it is going to be closer because I don't really know where Gus's mind is at right now. He seems kind of like reminiscent in a negative way, I feel like. And he was talking about how like he's never felt as much like in the fight pain as he did in this last fight against Jones. And then he said the thing about like, well, if I lose to Anthony Smith, like I probably just need to retire after that. So
It's realism, though.
yeah, I'm just saying I hope that doesn't like negatively impact his performance. I hope that it's
I'm certain that's true of so many people who fought John Jones. Like, go ask Brandon Vera what fight he felt the most pain in. Because I can show you him visibly being like, ah, and turtling away. And turtling away as Jones breaks his orbital. And I'm just thinking of like what John Jones did to people. Rampage Jackson had to have like knee surgery from those push kicks. Nasty.
yeah.
Like so many things that Jones does is just filthy. Like he stands there with his hands out, waiting for you to do anything with like a 85-inch reach or whatever he has.
84 and a half, yeah.
Yeah, just standing there like this. Come on, fight me. I'm going to put this wherever your head is going to move. Oh, I'm sorry. What? Hold on. What?
Yeah.
What? I'm too good. You know?
Yeah.
The rules do not apply.
Did you see his comments about fighting DC at heavyweight?
No. What did he say?
He said that he's probably not going to do that because he doesn't want to give DC the power advantage and the size advantage out of heavyweight.
Oh.
Which I replied to somebody on Facebook, which I never do, but I said that this was probably like some mind games because there's no way that Jones believes that. Like Jones thinks he would beat DC like 100 times out of 100. I think. So I think that he's saying that to like whenever that fight does materialize, if it does materialize, to where he's even hyping DC up. That way whenever DC falls for the third time, it's just like pretty much like a soul killer. Like that's the end of him. That's what I think. I don't think that Jones has any like mental weakness like that.
You know,
Unless he's just getting older and he's starting to be more realistic. Because that is true. DC would have an advantage at heavyweight, and that's why everybody wants to see that fight there.
like I feel bad for that hate fest that those two guys hate each other because
Now, are you
DC
Team
is
Jones or Team DC?
of course I'm Team DC.
Okay.
But like DC is like the second best guy pound for pound right now. Like, I mean, really, because his only losses are to the first best guy. But yet the first best guy will own him, you know? That just is a terrible situation to be in. But like, I don't know. I don't think it's a Misha Ronda dynamic. Like, I think that if Ronda Rousey fought Miesha Tate 1,000 times, Miesha Tate gets armbarred 999 times. Because what Miesha Tate is good at, Ronda Rousey is just like a super superior person, and Miesha Tate doesn't have one punch knockout power. In DC and Jones, if DC finds him with the right punch, he's got one punch. Ask Stipe.
Yeah.
He'll find you.
If he can get past that right
Yeah,
there.
exactly. If you can get past the cheaty.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, man. So that, there's always a puncher's chance in that, you know?
Yeah, especially a heavyweight.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I hope we see it. I hope it happens. Hopefully at the end of this year. If DC beats Stipe and Jones beats Santos, they could line it up for the MSG card in November.
Here's what I hope happens. DC beats Stipe. Retires. They do Ngannou Jones to see who the new heavyweight champ is.
That's a fight.
Yeah. But Ngannou has to beat JDS.
Right.
Yeah. So that Jones's first dip into the pool is the only time that I'm like, he might lose. He might, you know, like
Yeah.
most of the time I'm like, he should be a 17-1 favorite. Most of the time he's fighting Anthony Smith, you know, like, oh, well, he's going to kill him, you know?
Now I'm laughing at that, but that fight, that was one of the ones, I try not to be naive, like in the advertisement and stuff, but I remember texting you and I was like, man, you never know with Lionheart's heart. Like, I don't know. I felt like something weird could have happened in that one, and then it happened the way that it should have happened.
But heart gets neutralized if you're getting your orbital broken. You know? Like, you can be the toughest, strongest man, but, like, if you have someone who can break bones with strikes, and you're like, I'm too tough to die, and it's like, I think you're just tough. You're not too tough to die. And he's a killer. Yeah. So it's like, all right, there you go.
Yeah. Not thinking of that, like, about Jones always winning, him being the bad guy. There's a podcast out. It's called the Class Act Podcast by a guy named Barry McCockner on Twitter. And he always talks about how the best teams never win. And so he was talking about, like, the Warriors and the Patriots. And he was like, this is just further proof that God isn't real because these teams win. So that's what that made me think of with Jones and Smith. I don't hold the same opinion as him on that.
That's a dark thought. Yeah. I mean, what teams does he want to win?
Pretty much any teams that aren't those. Like, well, he talks about how the Knicks have bad karma too. Just like the worst, like everything bad happens to them all the time. But then everything good will happen to teams like Golden State and New England, like Boston sports teams. Yeah. This is like currently.
Somewhere like Chris Mullen was just like, what? He's like, I played on Golden State for like 20 years and we were terrible. That's the best pure shooter ever.
Yeah. So
then somewhere Reggie Miller gets really mad and he's like, wait until the clock is at 30 seconds and I can hit anything. And then Robert Horry gets really mad and he's like, anything? Because I'm really the clutch man.
Yeah.
And that's correct. That's where the conversation ends. Keep Robert Horry on your bench if you need a shot with no time on the clock because he's hitting it. Right now, he's like 55. Go get him. He's not 55, but like he is in his 40s.
I was about to say probably
he's got to be
40s.
50. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, anyways, to get off the NBA on the Fight Addicts, the final news is Tyron Woodley revealed his hand injury. He has chronic arthritis in his hand.
So he's retiring because it's chronic.
Right. Not getting his title shot anymore.
Is he retiring?
No, he's not retiring.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah. He is or he said that he's back on the path to like get his belt and everything, and that he's planning a comeback at UFC 241. Is kind of like what he's shooting for.
Okay.
Which is DC Stipe 2, Pettis and Diaz, and then Yoel and Costa. So he's going to be like first fight of the night if he gets on that card. That's a stacked card if he does join that.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's the best card in a while.
They might get like 150,000 pay-per-view buys with that one. You don't think so?
Mm-mm. They've done it. They did it. Whenever that one that we saw that was
236, Holloway Poirier 2.
Yeah, that was a great card, and it did under 100,000, right?
Oh, it did under? I thought you said it did 100,000.
Like it's estimated at like 100,000.
Okay, so you're saying it probably did like 90 something.
I mean,
crazy.
It was like 10 times what De La Hoya did, but
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's terrible. Those numbers are terrible. And they did it to themselves when they kept making you buy more stuff. Like, Fight Pass was like where if you put one more feather on the camel's back, it's breaking. And then they were like, yeah, you don't really need Fight Pass anymore. You just got to get ESPN Plus, and then you'll be able to order pay-per-views. And it's like, what? I have a pay-per-view provider, thank you. It's like, well, we don't anymore. Give us your money, goofballs.
Yeah, that was ridiculous. Well, because think of all the people that don't have smart TVs, even though it is 2019.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't say that's a common thing in every household. Like,
I mean,
I would say, like, well, how many people do you think can just, like, pull up YouTube on their TV?
they've at least got it set up like I do, where they've got a Blu-ray player that has the internet.
Right.
That's what I'm watching YouTube through, is my Blu-ray player. So, like,
I guess that what I'm trying to say is I just feel like that's not a smart move.
It's
on
not.
Like accessibility, because I feel like
Right.
yeah, not enough people have it to where it's like, well, hey, let's like do our let's do our platform like this.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, it's amazing to me that even in, like, 2019, it still matters if you're on network television. Like, if you're on 2, 4, 5, 17, those are the channels that go out. I mean, they're not over the airwaves anymore. It's all digital now. But, like, those are the channels you get for free. And, like, I know that UPN was, or it's either UPN or Channel 30. Like, I don't know. It's wherever SmackDown was, the wrestling show, that you would get it for free every week. And it had so many more viewers than Raw did. Even though Raw was the flagship show, it's on USA, which means that you have to at least have cable to get it. And it's got fewer viewers, even though it's so much better, just because of what channel it comes on. And I'm like, who doesn't have basic cable? I mean, as long as you have cable, any kind of cable, you get USA. I got USA in like 1991 at a parsonage where we had like 30 channels and that was it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and get into our preview for the end of 2019 and kind of how things are going to be in December of 2019 as far as the UFC goes. So the first thing I want to ask you was, do you think there will be any major returns that we're going to see before the end of the year, such as like Conor McGregor, Nate Diaz, even though he's like verbally announced to fight, but like Nick Diaz, any big names or big time returns? Do you see any of those coming before the year ends?
I don't think Nick's coming back.
Do you think Nick is like totally done for?
Yeah.
That is sad.
Yeah. I think he's done. Unless something crazy happens. I still want to see, like, the thing that I want to see is have the Diaz trilogy, have Nate Diaz, and if Conor were to somehow, like, style on him, which I don't think he will. I think it's going to be close every time they fight. But, like, if Conor put Nate out and finishes him and then is like, I got something for you too, I'll get the big Diaz in here, that would be epic.
Yeah.
I'd pay $100 to see that because I think Nick Diaz tunes him up.
Seriously?
Yeah. I think that as far as, like,
Do you think it goes to the ground?
Ooh.
I was
Maybe.
fixing to say, if it goes to the ground, then yeah, I mean, that's definitely favored for Diaz.
I just think that he, like, starts slapping him and stuff. I think that he just he throws 700 strikes whenever McGregor tries to get close to him, because his reach is ridiculous on McGregor. It's better than Nate's. So, like, and his power is going to be higher than Nate's.
Yeah, for sure.
And Conor's not going to take him down. So,
yeah, it's so funny how Nate got to be more popular, which obviously it's all because of the McGregor win. But, like, I mean, now for fans today, it's mainly like Nate. You don't hear a lot about Nick, especially like online, like on Instagram and stuff.
Well, Nick is not relevant right now.
Yeah,
he hasn't
I'm
been
just saying
relevant
it's
since
kinda
the
sad to
GSP
see.
stuff. Yeah.
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 Because, I mean, we both agree that Nick was the better Diaz brother, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, you can go back to that, like, fight when he was 19 and he gets finished. But going back to what I was saying, as far as, like, what it looks like when Conor fights Nick Diaz, it's going to look kind of like the Carlos Condit fight. except Conor is not going to have the range that Carlos Condit did. And like, I just remember that Carlos Condit fight. Carlos Condit sets and throws a full-blown head kick that lands flush, shin, bam, right there in his nose. And he eats it, blows his nose, which you're not supposed to do when you get a broken nose, and continues plodding forward. And I'm like, yeah, I don't care what kind of power you have. It's not going to end well. I mean, Anderson Silva, like, even if Conor is going to do the stylish, like, stun gun punches the way that, you know, precision awesomeness, Anderson did that, and he didn't finish Nick.
Right.
You know? Nick's in there posing, lying down.
I was going to say,
okay.
I feel like that's how the start of Nick Diaz and Conor McGregor would go. A lot like the first, like, 3 minutes of the Anderson fight where he just gets, like, a warning from the referee to quit taunting.
Yeah. Goes and stands up against the cage and stuff. Yeah. Yeah.
Gold.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, so no to Nick. And do you think that Nate's going to show up to the Pettis fight?
Yeah.
Okay, so we both agree with that. And then Conor, you think that he will return this
You'll
year?
You'll know who he's going to fight by the end of the year. I don't think he will return. If he does, it's going to be like New Year's. It's going to be that big card at the very end of December.
Like, okay. Yeah.
Like, or early 2020.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Who do you think he will fight? Or you're saying that it all depends on just kind of how everything plays out?
Well, it does depend on how it plays out. Because I don't think that they'll give... If Cowboy beats Tony, I don't know that he necessarily should fight Khabib. You know?
I understand stylistically, I guess I would say. Or like as
I'm
an
guessing
actual mixed martial arts promotion. Yeah. I mean, as much as I love Cowboy, mainly like Dad Cowboy, he's not on Khabib's level.
He's just going to get mauled.
Right. And I don't think anybody wants to see that.
Yeah.
I think that if Nate wins against Pettis, we'll see the trilogy fight. If they can somehow get them to agree on money, then I think that'll be your end of the year card. Diaz McGregor 3.
Or you could do Gaethje, excuse me, Conor.
See, I just don't think Conor's going to agree to it. As much as I'd like to see that fight, I feel like he's going to be like, why would I fight this guy?
Because you can have another highlight like Eddie Alvarez. That's what it's going to look like. Like, I mean, I really feel like it would be the Eddie Alvarez fight again. Or something very much like Anderson Silva and Forrest Griffin. Even though, like, I mean, like, I know that Gaethje is way, way, way better than Forrest Griffin, but he's not way, way, way better than Eddie Alvarez.
No, Eddie beat him.
Exactly,
so.
Exactly. That guy who is wobbling around, getting just styled on in one of the most epic. I'm gonna style on you. You're not in my level, and you have the belt. It was kind of like not to blaspheme, but Ali and not Ali Frazier, Ali and the guy he took the belt from. I had it in my head. He's big and dark as midnight, and he's left-handed, but he fights orthodox. And the mob killed him, overdosed him on heroin.
Yeah, I'm not for sure. Talk about the fight, and I'll look it up.
Well, Muhammad Ali was like a 4-1 underdog in his first title fight because he became the youngest heavyweight champion at the time. And he just beat the brakes off of him. I mean, he's an Olympic medalist, you know. Ali was. Although he did that as Cassius Clay, I think. I think he was still Cassius Clay when he became the...
When did he change his name?
I think it was after the Olympics. It's once he's, like, famous. Like, by the time he's a professional boxer. But I don't think at the Olympics he was Muhammad Ali. And he changed a lot of his feel. I don't think that he would have gone to the Olympics. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if he would have gone to the Olympics as Muhammad Ali. Because, you know, he had a lot of issues with the government. That's why he got stripped of his belt. Because he refused to go to Vietnam.
Is it Sonny Liston?
Sonny Liston.
Sonny Liston, yeah.
Sonny Liston, yeah. That's right. Yeah. The picture where he's standing over him, like,
yeah,
that's
that happened.
Sonny Liston.
Okay.
on the ground.
That happened, it was like 54 years ago. Like a couple days ago was the anniversary of it.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a great moment in boxing.
Yeah. Because Brawlers on Instagram put up a beautiful picture of it. Like he kind of like edited it and made it look really good.
The saddest is the rematch. Liston doesn't answer the bell in like the third or something because he knows it's going to happen again.
Yeah.
He's like, I have nothing for him. I can't touch him.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's get into our picks for the champions at the end of 2019.
Okay.
You prepared for this?
Yes.
All right. So let's go ahead and start out in the men's division, and this is just UFC, but flyweight. Who do you think is going to be the flyweight champion by the end of 2019? Because my pick is still Henry Cejudo.
He's fighting Moraes.
He's fighting Moraes, but he's going up to bantamweight.
Oh.
So if he loses, it's like what TJ did. He doesn't lose his title.
Then it'll be Cejudo because he's not going to fight again before the end of the year.
Okay. See, I'm thinking that even if he does fight again, even if it was like Benavidez, I still feel like he probably beats Benavidez or Formiga.
Oh, that'll be a good fight. The first one was a good fight. The first one was close. I was worried. I thought that Benavidez was going to style on Cejudo, but then it was tight.
Yeah, I think it'd be a close fight. I just think that Cejudo probably edges him out.
I think Cejudo now you have to have some confidence going in now, like serious confidence, because you just justified your presence here. Because up to this point, you had that medal in a different sport.
Yeah.
It's a
Everybody
different
knows
sport.
about that medal.
Yeah, but other than that, I watched the Legacy where you fought a Taekwondo guy that was like 3-3, and you were stanky legging all over the cage before you got a hold of him. And I was like, oh, that ain't good. That's going to end bad when you get to the big dance. Also, he had all kinds of weight problems before he got to
He's
UFC.
a big 25er.
Yeah.
He was posting pictures whenever he was fighting TJ, and it was like, I mean, he was Jack City. Like, a lot of people were like, is Henry going to make weight?
Yeah,
As
well,
opposed
that's
to,
a
like,
good question.
TJ.
Because
Yeah.
he didn't make weight when he was fighting in Legacy a couple times. He had like one where he pulled out, and he had one where he didn't make weight. And it's just like, dude, I wasn't sure that he was ever going to wind up in the UFC because of how his like pre-run up, like his local circuit run went. It's just a horror show of like cancellations, missed weight, problem. And then when he gets in the cage, he's getting hit by a guy off the street. It's like, okay, all right.
Yeah. So he just wasn't like very professional in the way that it.
Yeah,
I guess
he wasn't
didn't
professional,
care. Yeah.
and his skills surely didn't justify that from what I saw. And then he got to the dance, and he looked on point, other than when he fought Demetrius the first time. I mean, he looked like a lot of people who fight Demetrius Johnson, outmatched the first time. But yeah, Cejudo keeps that belt.
Okay. So for bantamweight, obviously there's going to be a new champion since TJ
I just wanted to be
the title.
like TJ next.
Yeah. I'm picking Marlon Moraes. I think that he's going to beat Cejudo, and I don't think that we'll have a double champ there.
Yeah.
And then even if he does fight again,
Moraes won't fight again.
you think he'll just hold it out to the end of the year?
Well, who else is in line? Who's the next guy at 135?
Funkmaster, Aljamain Sterling.
Ugh.
You don't think so?
I mean,
I think that Moraes beats him. I think that Aljamain, he looked good against Jimmy Rivera in his last fight.
Yes.
But I wouldn't say it's like championship worthy.
Yeah.
And then you have Pedro Munoz, and he's fighting.
What did you say Formiga was? Juicier?
What'd I say?
Where did you say he was in the rankings?
He's number 1, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. So why wouldn't he get the...
Yeah, at first I said Benavidez, and then I came back and said or Formiga.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Go ahead.
Or
My
is
bad.
it Formiga?
I've heard it both ways.
Okay.
I'm like legitimately. I've heard like
I feel
announcers
like I've
say
heard
it both
Formiga, but I'm
ways.
sitting here looking at it.
Yeah.
It has an I. So, but yeah. Anyways, Marlon Moraes for bantamweight.
Yeah, I agree with that. I
Okay.
think that's a safe call. I wonder if he's going to be. I'm betting he's going to be an underdog.
Yeah.
And I
Gotta
think
make
he's
some
going
money
to
on
get it
him.
done. Yeah, exactly.
I think he finishes Cejudo. I don't think that fight goes to a decision. And I'm not trying to hate on Cejudo.
It
but
just depends on the wrestling aspect of it. You know, if Cejudo can get him down,
yeah.
then he'll decision him. I think. But I
Yeah.
don't know that. I think that he
But-
can kind of keep that from happening.
Right. I feel like Mirage is going to hold his own and win the stand-up battle for sure.
Here's the question: does Cejudo realize that going in? Because if he starts losing rounds, being like, "I'm going to stand with this guy," so like all of a sudden it's 10 minutes in, and you're kind of swollen from losing 2 rounds of jab festival, and it's like, well, now you got to take him down, and now he knows you have to take him down, and he's going to stand so far away from you and kick at your legs, you know.
Right.
So, I don't know. If he goes in there and is like giant overhand right double leg, because that's what he should do. Just classic, throw a wingy punch and shoot at those legs. Get a grapple as quick as possible.
And this is definitely not sleeping on Henry because I think that he does definitely have a fair chance. But I just feel like Mirage is the better fighter. Yeah. He's going to prove it. So, and it's funny
better at everything but wrestling.
Right.
Yeah. And so it depends on when Cejudo takes it into his realm.
Correct.
Yeah.
And I think it's funny because Ali is managing both these guys. So I wonder who he's cheering for. Now, speaking of Ali, I did want to say this. I feel like a lot of people will probably find me kind of boring on this podcast when it comes to fighters because I'm not a very like polarizing person. Like I don't love somebody so much and I don't like hate people. Like every fighter, I'm one of those guys that's like, yeah, like I respect them, they're coming into it, all this stuff. So I was like, I probably need to start expressing a little bit more emotion about people that I don't like. And so one of those people is definitely like Ali Abdelaziz. Like, man, I hope that he's listening. I wish that he would come on this podcast. So I don't even know what I would do. Probably nothing, but just the fact that like having him on here, he's one of those, he's when like my, like the hate people. Yeah.
Why don't you do something?
What's his MMA record? It's awful.
I don't know.
It's like 5 fights. It's like
Dolce-esque.
1-3-1.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, yeah. Ali and Paulie Malignaggi. That's probably 2 of like the top guys. I'm just like, if I could punch like anybody in the MMA world like in the face, one would probably be Ali. The little mad terrorist rat.
You get a free shot at one guy.
You just say, how's Noah? And then you just like deck him.
I don't know that I'd go with Ali. I think like Dylan Dennis and MVP are probably my 2 that I'm like, yeah, I think that those guys need to get punched.
And see, that's why I don't like hate a lot of people because I find them funny. Like not MVP. MVP
I was
would be
hoping,
more in like the hate, but Dylan Dennis, I'm like, and that's not because I'm a Connor fan. Because I mean, Dylan Dennis, he's one of those that's like annoying yet.
Here's the thing.
It's just like funny to me.
When Chael Sonnen first came out, I didn't understand that it was a pro wrestling joke. I just thought that he was being super disrespectful to Anderson Silva, which he was being super disrespectful to Anderson Silva. And people didn't really know how to take it, But like, when I realized that it's a character that he's playing, I was like, I love Chael Sonnen. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
And the fact that he can use the same tactics that professional wrestlers did, where it blurs his character and his real self. They're not the same, but like you never really know until he starts making hilarious jokes. Like, where's the line? When's he being Chael? I'm gonna promote a fight, and when's he being Chael? Just the nice guy, and him getting Vanderlei so worked up.
I was about to say one of his. I think my personal favorite of his lines was how he was going in depth about how like Vanderlei is pretty much the equivalent of like his shoe. Yeah. He was like garble, 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 and he was like, "Guys, that's my shoe. That's not Vanderlei." That's one of the funniest lines that he ever said. I
think my favorite Chael line was at the press conference for the Tito fight, and he was like, "Yeah, we were at something the other day, and I saw Tito from a distance, and there was some fruit in front of me. So I picked up an orange, and I was like, I'm going to throw it and hit him in the back of the head. And when I threw it, the orange was headed straight for him, and then it just started circling because his head caused an orbit because it's so big." And yeah, that was good.
Yeah,
that
he had a lot of good ones with Tito.
Yeah.
His wife, or his ex-wife, that joke was funny.
Yeah.
The one where Tito's talking about, like, the lion story, and then children are like...
Yeah, that's really
that one's good.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
And then Tito got him back with the the juice box, crushing it.
Crush that juice box.
Yeah, I was retarded.
Yeah.
But anyways,
Yeah, man.
back to our shit.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Featherweight. Since we both agree that flyweight will be Henry Cejudo and bantamweight's still going to be, flyweight will still be Henry Cejudo. Bantamweight's going to be Marlon Moraes. So featherweight, I still have Max Holloway. I don't see him losing to Edgar or Volkanovski if the Volkanovski gets made. If that fight gets made,
I'm going to make a bold
Edgar
prediction, and I'm going to say that Frankie Edgar's going to be a champ again when they fight.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. You heard it here, guys. If it happens.
Yeah.
This
I
is the
think
first
Frankie's
place.
going to come to play, and I think that Max is going to have trouble with it.
That'd be a terrible year for Max if that happens.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
He can join TJ.
you know, I mean, like, what sounded more realistic before the fight? That Dustin Poirier was going to beat him up, like, just kind of outstrike him and decision him, or that Frankie Edgar's going to be able to Frankie Edgar him, you know, just bounce around a bunch and evade and stick in, stick out. You know, I do think that Frankie Edgar loses a little bit of his edge in this fight in that it is 145 pounds. I feel like, honestly, as long as Edgar's not fighting a wrestler, he's better at 155 because he's so freaking fast.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like, what's this little guy doing, man? And as long as you're not trying to take him down, unless you land that bomb, unless you're Gray Maynard and you're just going to hit that bomb, you know, or who just splattered him?
Frankie.
Yeah.
Ortega.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, uppercut, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a funky,
late in the round.
That's a funky punch, man.
And by a funky person too, like Ortega to be your first knockout.
Yeah.
It's kind of
Yeah, T-City
Yeah.
throwing bombs, you know. You fought Aldo twice and didn't go to sleep. But
And
Brian
then
Ortega,
Yeah.
night, baby. Yeah, it's like, okay.
Yeah. Now those two would be on the end of like fighters that I love. Like I would love to be able to have both of them and just sit down and talk to them.
Ortega and
Frankie.
yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
They both seem like really great dudes.
Yeah, yeah. Did you see Brian Ortega's face like 6 days after the fight?
Yeah.
That's not human. I don't know how he
Jesus.
healed. Yeah, that's ridiculous. He looks like my old buddy Colin. Shout out to Colin. But yeah,
Okay, so Frankie Edgar and Max Holloway is our picks for featherweight champion.
yeah. I think Frankie's gonna get it done.
It's a bold pick.
Yeah,
As long as you stick with it though, and
I'm
don't
gonna
cower
stick with
back.
it. Yeah.
All right, so lightweight. This is probably the most interesting. Is in there's so many contenders at the top, but such a dominant champion. Do you think that? Khabib
will be
rides
the
it out.
champion. Yeah,
So you don't think that if Tony beats Cowboy,
Tony's not gonna beat Khabib.
so you're not on that like hype train?
No, he's gonna get mauled. Yeah,
Wow.
he's gonna get taken down.
Now that's
He's
a
gonna
lot of
get-
people are like screaming at their iPods right
He's
now
gonna
over
get
that
taken.
statement.
Let me tell you what's gonna happen if Tony fights Khabib. He's gonna get taken down. His legs are gonna get locked up. He's basically gonna get mounted, and be like, "What in the world?"
See,
For as long as it takes.
here's my thing with Tony. Nobody's saying that Tony's a bad fighter. That's not like
No.
on the Tony Ferguson bandwagon.
Yeah,
Because Tony's following is pretty. It's not like cultish, but it is like. It's one of those that's different. It's like distinct. So, in my mind, if Kevin Lee gets full mount on Tony, like I feel like Khabib does that like all 5 rounds.
Yeah.
Like it's literally just come out the gate, shoot, and then it's like, here we go. I don't feel like that chance for Tony to lock up a submission happens in that fight. I feel like Khabib's grappling is just so many levels above anything that Tony's going to be able to do. So,
Yeah.
sorry for all the Tony fans out there, but that's just...
yeah. I feel like Khabib is gonna do that to everybody that is currently in the mix at 155. I'd be interested to
I
see
think
him
that
fight. I would
Gaethje-
love to see him fight Justin Gaethje. Yeah, because I just want to see Gaethje get taken down. Because I don't think I've ever seen Gaethje get taken down, and that's what he
I
always
haven't.
says.
I
That's
also didn't watch World Series of Fighting, so if it happened during then, I don't know.
World Series of Fighting is like watching ECW in 2000. Like his run in World Series of Fighting is just head trauma. Like, he wins and he styles on people, but that Luis Palomino fight, both of them, but the first one especially, is just Griffin Bonner level with leg kicks. It's brutal. But, yeah.
I would love to see Gage as the lightweight champ. I wish that if he fought Khabib that he would beat him. I think that'd be hilarious to, like, just see his face with the belt, like, in every single promotion.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when he showed up and everybody picked Michael Johnson to beat him. And I was like, that's a mistake, guys. First off, it's Michael Johnson. And as I tell Seth, never bet on Michael Johnson.
I learned that lesson in the Josh Emmett fight.
He texted me and said that he was picking John. He put some like fake money or whatever money, like what is it, DraftKings?
Yeah, he was in my DraftKings.
Yeah, he was in your DraftKings lineup, and I was like, don't put him in there, man. And then he, But yeah. So Khabib next.
All right. Next is welterweight. This was a hard pick for me.
So it's either gonna be Colby or Usman, right?
Yeah. And see, that's why it's a hard pick. Because Usman looked so dominant against Woodley. But
I feel
also,
like Usman beats him. He's too big.
Well, that's what I'm going to. Because Colby walks around at like 185. He doesn't cut a lot of weight to make 70.
Yeah.
That's my biggest concern.
Yeah, he's too big.
Because like judging off their last, well, not Usman's, his 2 fights before the Woodley fight.
Yeah.
It was the same people.
Yeah.
Damian Maia, RDA.
Yeah.
Colby had already beat both of them.
Yeah.
Like definitively. So Usman just kind of got like his scraps. Like his leftovers, what he did to him. In a way.
Okay.
And so then when the Woodley fight happened, I was like, well, yeah. Like Woodley's probably just going to do what Usman did to him. But
yeah.
Usman looks like a new breed. And so I'm picking him over Colby.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a good fight, though.
Yeah. And then I want to see him fight
Askren.
Askren, yeah. You know, that was the
Who wins
thought
that
when we were
fight?
talking about like who can stop Khabib from just taking him down and mauling him. And I was like, Ben Askren, that'd be a good fight. Have Khabib move up to 170, have him fight Ben Askren. That would be the most garbage stand-up fight you've ever seen.
And somewhere Cara Parisian's just like
Yeah.
standing up in the audience.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah, bad. But so yeah, Usman, 170.
Okay. So the only one we've disagreed on so far is featherweight.
Mhm.
So you have Frankie. We're going to disagree on this one too. Middleweight. Because right now it's Whitaker.
It's Whitaker and, or no, there's
Adesanya.
not. Yeah, Adesanya. Yeah. And they're gonna fight. So it's who wins in Whitaker Adesanya, right? So
Because I'm sure that neither one of them will fight at the end of the year.
Whitaker wins. Yeah, Whitaker.
See, here's my thing. Because we've already debated about this twice, I think, on the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Whitaker is a lot better fighter. But I'm just picking. I'm
You're
picking
gonna say your
Adesanya.
momentum thing, right?
Yeah.
No,
I feel like
the momentum is gone because of the Kelvin fight.
because like
The
he
bloom
has.
is off the rose.
I don't want to be on the hype train because like I liked Adesanya until
I still like
When was it?
Adesanya.
he's kind of getting annoying to me.
Why?
In the sense of like,
Because he's talking
Okay.
of himself as like the greatest or whatever.
and I understand why you do that for like promotional reasons and stuff, or like calling himself the real champ, calling Rob the fake champ, and like he's like a fake Aussie, like stuff like
That's
that. Just
okay.
kind of gets on my nerves.
That's okay. It's motivation.
I guess
Do it to him. Is it?
I would like to
where's the
see-
fight? Where's the fight going to be?
either Australia or New Zealand.
Yeah.
It's one of those places. I can't remember which one off the top of my head. So
Where's Adesanya from?
Adesanya is New Zealand. Whitaker is Australia.
Okay. Oh wow.
He was Nigerian born, and then they moved to New Zealand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a. You know those people hate each other, right?
Right. That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. I don't know. I feel like where it's going down, I just feel like it's going to be something weird. And that's why I'm picking Adesanya, because I feel like he'll thrive in that kind of moment. So I'm coming at this from like a completely like not looking at it like in the mixed martial arts fashion of just like
Yeah.
who's technically better and all that. I'm just saying like it's kind of my gut feeling, and I'm just going to go with it and hope
Yeah.
for the best.
Sure. Okay.
But yeah, Whitaker should win. I think he's a better fighter, but I'm picking Adesanya on record to win that fight.
Okay.
Okay. Light heavyweight.
Wait, let me change my prediction, because I'm not saying that Robert Whittaker won't beat Adesanya, but somehow I feel like it's going to be Kelvin and Whittaker, and Kelvin's going to beat Whittaker at some point. I don't know if it happens I don't know what happens, but like someone drops out, Kelvin shows up and fights Whittaker and beats him. That's what I think could happen.
So do you think that Adesanya could pull out of their fight?
Yeah, like something weird happens.
Yeah.
And then they're like, well, we got to get somebody, and Kelvin's there. Yeah.
And you think Kelvin beats Whittaker?
Yeah.
Now, do you think he finishes him, or do you think this is going to be like a long, drawn-out, like 5-round fight?
I think that he beats him, maybe finishes him when Whittaker realizes that he's losing. You know, that Whittaker's going to do the thing that we were talking about, the oppo of Anthony Smith. He's going to be like, well, I'm not doing this.
Time to go, mate.
Yeah, I'm not losing this fight.
Yeah.
And you can't do that against someone of that caliber. He's going to look like Vitor Belfort against Kelvin. But
I wonder what's going to happen to Yoel. Like,
he's going
to
to beat Paulo Costa, and then he's going to...
Yeah. Well, yeah, he beats Paulo.
Yeah. If he doesn't, he's retired.
Yeah.
Because he's like 40.
Because then he becomes like the gatekeeper. And so it's just weird fights for him that nobody really wants to see.
And he's going to be a horrible gatekeeper because he's going to beat everybody.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, I think that unless you are going to fight him for 5 rounds and win a split decision, and I don't see people that aren't Robert Whittaker doing that to him. You know? See, like, it's weird.
I think that, Whittaker...
It's weird in my head.
Whittaker was terrible for Romero because that's the only guy that even comes close to that for him.
It's weird in my head because I'm like, I think Kelvin beats Whittaker. I think that Yoel beats Kelvin.
Yeah, I would pick Yoel against Kelvin.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so Adesanya beats Kelvin. Or he did beat Kelvin.
Yes. But then Adesanya somehow
to lose to Whittaker.
Yes.
But Kelvin
beats Whittaker, and then Yoel beats Kelvin.
So we could see Yoel as the champ next year?
Yeah.
In 2020?
Yeah. Yeah.
I hope so. I'd like to see that happen. Yeah. It'd be funny.
It'd be fun, yeah.
Yeah. So your official prediction at the end of 2019 is
Kelvin in that lineage.
Okay.
Yeah. Through odd circumstances.
Adesanya pulls out.
This is going to be awesome if it happens, just to let you know. Adesanya pulls out,
Mystic
Kelvin
Mac
comes
right
in.
here.
Yeah, Kelvin comes in, Kelvin beats Whittaker. By the end of the year, they will be saying that it's going to be Yoel and Kelvin for the belt. Yeah. Yeah.
I hope so. Praying to the just believe God that it happens. All right, so light heavyweight, John Jones.
At the end of the year, yeah.
Yeah.
If he doesn't move up after he beats if he doesn't like audibly move up after he beats Santos.
Well, he said that right now there's 2 fights after that are like kind of roaming around. The Luke Rockhold fight and then Johnny Walker.
Hey, Luke Rockhold versus John Jones?
Yeah. He said that like that's kind of like the whispers from like the UFC as to what they want him to do after the Santos fight.
Okay. They want Bisping to come out of retirement and fight him next? Like they want him to beat Luke Rockhold and then fight Bisping, right? Yeah, because that's terrible.
Yeah. And at this point, I would say Jones wins all 3. I say if you develop Johnny Walker, it could be interesting just because he's kind of like Gustafsson in the way that it's kind of like
Johnny
a mirror
Walker's the
image
most
for
interesting
Jones.
one of them, but I feel like Jones just takes him down.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, especially right now. It's going to be interesting to see how he develops.
5 years from now, I feel like John Jones take him down. I think he could train wrestling until his career ends, and John Jones will just take him down. John Jones took down DC.
That's true.
The heavyweight champ who was basically an Olympian wrestler. Well, then there's no stopping it. There's not a way to stop it. That's why I want to see Askren. That's why I desperately want to see Askren and Khabib. Because I'm like, that's the true test of can you stop it? You know? Mm-hmm. Or somehow get a time machine and get GSP in there from. But I feel like GSP would just jab him to death.
Yeah, well, Ali said that, I didn't even mention this earlier, but Ali said that if Khabib beats Poirier, they're looking at the GSP fight at the end of this year.
GSP will win.
Even his age now.
Yeah.
I would hope so, but I would have more doubts.
The only thing I doubt is it gonna be at 155? Because I feel like that's
the deal with that is he said Ali was talking about how the UFC really doesn't want to do that because they don't want the thing that happened at middleweight.
Yeah.
The sport killer to come out.
Right.
Yeah.
That's true.
I mean, I agree with it. I understand why you wouldn't want to do that is from the promotion
You could do it as like a super fight, but it needs to be at 170. Meet the middle.
I think that's where we get both their best, too, is at 170 because Khabib walks around at like 200. That's what's insane. He cuts like 45 pounds.
Yeah, but you honestly probably get their best at 185 because both of them walk around at like 200 pounds.
Yeah.
Just one of them kills himself to get to 155. The other one is still pretty big at 170, but he's not killing himself. So that means that when he fights Thiago Alves, he looks small because that guy is 215 pounds or something ridiculous. You know,
I didn't know that he was that much. I knew he was heavy and he always looked big for 70, but
Alves is
I didn't know that he was
huge.
215.
I mean, I don't know that he's 215, but he's huge. He's one of those guys that was the original Dolce diet guys that it was like, we can make 170. It's like, good Lord.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did him and Rumble ever fight at 170?
I don't know, but Rumble would be bigger than him. Rumble's the most ridiculous one.
Yeah, that's... Yeah. Thinking about his is just crazy. I couldn't imagine putting my body through that. All right, so we have all of the men's divisions picked except for heavyweight. And honestly, even now in my show notes, I have heavyweight as a question mark. I wasn't able to pick it before we left because I was thinking of all the different things that could happen.
Ngannou.
That was my first pick that I wrote down. And then I was like, well, I'm torn on the DC Stipe fight.
DC's going to get him again. He might wrestle him this time, but he's going to get him again.
Because the weird thing about it, welcome to Cheatham County if you heard that truck in the background.
But in Robertson County, thank you.
Yeah. Huh. Dang. Anyways, yeah, DC. That fight, Stipe was winning like the first 3 minutes. Right. We both agree with that.
Yes, but not like...
Also, that's like 3 minutes of a fight. So it's like, how much do we want to take that into consideration? What's the chances of them getting locked up in the clinch and DC doing that to him again? Does DC take him down?
Yes. He either clinches up with him or takes him down. That's going to happen.
I'm thinking DC by decision.
No.
You don't think it goes all 5?
No.
Either way?
Too much power, yeah. Stipe ain't going out like that either. Like, Stipe will get knocked unconscious trying to get his belt back.
I want my belt back.
What?
I said I want my belt back.
Yeah, exactly.
I want my belt back.
Yeah. Let him come get it then. And I think that he would try. He's a fireman, man. He ain't afraid to go to sleep.
Yeah.
You know? Okay.
But yeah, so a lot of mine just stems on like that whole variable right there.
I hope they give Struve a front row seat and they interview him about it and stuff.
You love that fight, don't you?
It just Struve and Jones just sitting cage side watching, you know.
Watching the little boys play.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Talking about, yeah, you remember when I knocked that guy out? Jones just looks at him. He's like, I made mine cry.
Yeah.
He's like, hold on a second. Woo! I love fights.
Yeah.
Okay, so
yeah, so
girl-wise? Or,
well, okay,
or you
so
never even made your pick.
Official,
yeah.
Okay, well, how do you think that Ngannou gets it? Are you saying that
DC retires?
Okay.
It becomes vacant. Ngannou's going to fight.
Do you think that he fights Jones? Or do you think that he...
No.
Okay.
No. Jones is still down at light heavyweight at the end of the year.
So you don't think they would pull him up that quick?
No. Not before the end of the year. Jones doesn't fight again before the end of the year.
Okay.
And if he does, it's like Johnny Walker.
Yeah.
Or Luke Rockhold. Yeah.
If Rockhold beats Blachowicz.
Yeah. Something dumb like that.
Yeah. What if Gus wins and they do Jones, Gus 3?
They should never do that. Yeah. I don't know.
De La Hoya puts it up.
Yeah.
Okay, so for on the record, I'm going to say by the end of 2019, the champ at heavyweight will be... You know what? I'm going to side with you and go with Ngannou. I feel like Ngannou beats the winner of DC Stipe. I feel like he knocks either one of them out.
He won't beat DC.
You don't think that he knocks DC out?
No, sir. He gets wrestled.
So you don't think it'll be like the Kane fight?
No.
No,
DC
uppercut
is
or
better
anything?
than Kane.
Really?
DC is better than Kane.
Okay, prime Kane versus prime DC.
DC.
Ooh, I don't know. Okay, so Kane gets knocked out by JDS. And then he doesn't lose again till Verdum. So in that time period, man, I don't know. I may edge it to DC.
Yeah.
I feel like I would edge it DC.
I mean, it's not like a lock. There's always the power. But
Yeah.
I feel like, I don't know. Ever since I watched that DC Josh Barnett fight, because I was always unsure that DC was big enough to really, because he's short, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
he's
5'10".
shorter than I am, and he's fighting monsters.
He's half an inch shorter than I am.
Yeah, but
That's crazy.
the second that I saw him lock his hands and it was just a high crotch lift into the air of Josh Barnett, just babied him. I was like, he's gonna be all right. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if Ngannou went flying against DC. Like, if DC gets his hands locked, you're going for that ride, and it's beautiful.
Okay. I would say the best way to sum up my thoughts would be, I think I 100% agree with you on that, but I also think that it's like the same for Ngannou's stand-up. Like, mine is that, like, I feel like at DC's age right now, it's like one shot from Ngannou, and he's gone. I feel like Ngannou's
I think it's
reaching that level, and then
everyone's-
DC's going to be on the decline.
Everybody at every weight division, that's true of. Doesn't matter where you are. One shot from Ngannou, and you're gone. If he hits you if he hits anyone the way that he hit Alistair Overeem, you're gone.
Right.
You're unconscious. It is not an option. There's not a chin that eats that. Make Nick Diaz a heavyweight, and I'm interested to see it. I'd like to see Mark Hunt try and take that punch. Although I've also seen Melvin Manhoff knock out Mark Hunt.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know,
Yeah. Diaz at heavyweight's the best to, like, test it out.
yeah.
Okay, so that finishes the men's division. Okay, so we had Henry Cejudo, Marlon Moraes. I say Max Holloway, you say Frankie.
Mm-hmm.
Both with Khabib, both with Usman. I said Adesanya, you say Kelvin
Yes.
at middleweight. Crazy pick. But could happen. I mean,
Crazier things have happened.
Right.
Matt Serra was the welterweight champion.
it's true. And
Travis Luter had
then title shot.
well, it wasn't a title shot because he didn't make weight, but he had Anderson Silva mounted in that fight, if you remember.
I'm going to have to go back and watch it.
Yeah, he has him full on mounted. It's nasty, but too bad he can't do anything with it.
Yeah. Okay, so light heavyweight we're both with Jones, and heavyweight we're both with Ngannou.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, women's strawweight with Andrade as champion. Will she stay champion for all of 2019? Or
Yeah, I think she will.
you think so?
Mm-hmm.
I think her toughest threat's going to be Tatiana Suarez, probably. But
I've seen Tatiana Suarez on Ultimate Fighter, I think, and I just wasn't like blown away. Oh wait, no, I know who you're talking about now. Yeah, that'll be a good fight.
yeah,
She's stronger than her though, right? Andrade is going to be the stronger girl.
well, probably like look after 237, what she did to Rose. Yeah, I would say so.
She's a bully.
I'll say she rides it out till 2019, like to the end of it.
Yeah.
Andrade.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, women's flyweight with Valentina Shevchenko. I say she definitely stays champion. I don't see anybody in that division beating her. I think she gets past Jessica Eye at UFC 238.
Yes. So yeah, Shevchenko will be it by the end of the year.
And then women's bantamweight, it's still Amanda Nunes. I don't think that Holly's going to beat her, even though, like I've said on one episode of the podcast, I think it's going to be a closer fight than people think.
I will
think
pick
that
Amanda Nunes either by first round knockout or the first time that Holly engages with her. Because Holly Holm can do the same thing that anybody with real boxing pedigree can do. not just walk around for as long as it takes. Watch the Betch-Kohea fight between Holly Holm. It's just a sea of boos for like 12 minutes until Kohea's like, come on, what are you going to do? And like drops her hands and stuff and is like sticking her face out and then gets head kicked. Dead. And it's like, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Mm-hmm. You're an idiot. So it's like, okay. Like, I think that, except I don't think she's going to head kick Amanda Nunes. I think that she's just going to blast her the way she did Miesha Tate to take the belt. Yeah.
Okay. And then women's featherweight, if there's even a fight there, it's still Amanda Nunes, but the UFC's taken that off their website. Like, it's just a picture of Nunes, and there's no rankings underneath it. So I'm going to say Nunes.
Yeah.
Stay champion there.
Have they talked about a Cyborg rematch? Has Cyborg
Not really.
been like, I want to fight her again because I'm the best?
Nope. I mean, Cyborg has said that from what I remember, like right after that fight happened, but UFC did not seem...
Well, I mean, they shouldn't be, but it's the only fight to make. It's the only fight that you could possibly sell, and it's not even really sellable because you're like, well, she got destroyed, and everyone's happy that she got destroyed. Everyone's happy that, like, the chick that was on steroids, like, has tested positive for steroids, can't beat up girls that are too small anymore. And when she fought another girl that hit like a man, she lost. So, there you go. She also pulled mount on Gina Carano. Go watch that fight. That's like one of the dumbest things I've ever seen. Cyborg versus Carano. It's the sloppiest thing ever, but she falls down giving Gina Carano mount, like pulls her into mount. And I'm like, if Gina Carano knew anything about what to do from here, this would be over. But it was just a slop fest. So, yeah.
Sounds good. Do you have any like miscellaneous predictions for the end of the year? Because like I told you before we started the episode, I think that mine's going to be, if BJ Penn fights again, he'll extend his losing streak to 8 fights in a row.
Something will change. Something will be announced by the end of 2019 as to the pay-per-view model. Something's going to change.
So you don't think this holds up?
No. There won't be, you have to pay to see the fight. There'll be something that's like a subscription service. It's still going to be like ESPN Plus. But like everything's gonna be on ESPN Plus and Fight Pass.
So probably like $9.99 or $14.99 a month, and then you get everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I mean, once Vince McMahon showed everybody that you can not charge $60 for a pay-per-view as long as you get 1 million people to give you $10 a month, and all $10 goes to your company because it's your website. See, every time you pay $60 for a pay-per-view, probably about like 40% of that is actually going to the UFC.
Really?
50% of that is going to the cable company that you've got the satellite through.
So that's why it's so expensive.
Yeah. And Vince McMahon was like, I'm tired of giving DirecTV and Dish Network millions of dollars. And he's like, I'd rather make $2 million and make 100% of $2 million than make $3 million or than make $6 million and only get half of it because I'm giving away $3 million. I want 100% as opposed to more money because that is who I am, you know? So I figure when Goofballs gets that in his head, I mean, and it's the proper dynamic. Like wrestling is dying or is already dead and it's just being kept on life support. But the fan base has shown you how to make a business model that's going to continue to work. So there you go.
All right. You ready to wrap it up?
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for listening to episode number 9 of The Fight Addicts. If this is your first time hearing about us, be sure to check out our blog at thefightAddicts.com and stay up to date with us by following at The Fight Addicts on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. We're out on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, any platform. Just feel free to check us out. Thank you guys for listening, and we'll see y'all next time.
Peace.